You seem uncomfortable. Do I make you nervous, Corky?
No.
Thirsty, maybe.
Curious, maybe.
That's funny. I'm feeling a little bit curious myself.
The wind's shifting. Everyone's gonna get it. Welcome to Pleasers,
And Punishers.
where we talk about movies that people love to watch,
Movies that ruin your today, tomorrow, and yesterday.
and all things kinky and queer.
I'm Caitlin of the North.
And I'm May seed-eating faggot Schultz. Look, my other option was it'd be a shame to see those hams go. But I used the line about having a great butt for the cook, the thief, his wife, and her lover. So I figured I'd change it up this time.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. Oh, and today we're discussing, are those the voices in my head, or are you just really unhappy to see me? In Delicatessen! Directed by Jeunet Caro and Jean-Pierre Jeunet, starring Dominique Pignon, Marie-Laure Dunac, and Jean-Claude Dreyfus. Nailed that last one.
All right, tell me, Caitlin, have you ever been to the circus?
I thought your first question was, Caitlin, why the fuck would you pick a movie that stars a clown?
Hey, you know what? Like I've said, my bestie Erica helped me overcome most of my coulrophobia with some exposure therapy. And I was able to handle it. I did not like looking at a clown. I'm never going to enjoy a clown. But I didn't have a panic attack, so I'll call that a win.
Hey, for reals. It is a win. I still can't watch most shark movies without, like, heart palpitations, so you know.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, it's a wild one for me. But to answer your question, yes, I actually have been to the circus. I think it was the Ringling Brothers Circus, post-elephants. Thank you very much. My sister and I went with our dad, and we must have had a good time because I don't remember anything terrible happening. Also, my mom got really, really into Cirque du Soleil for a while. Like, really into it. And anytime it was around, if we were going somewhere, she's like, we have to go. We have to go see Cirque du Soleil.
I've seen a few Cirque du Soleil shows. My dad's best friend lived in Vegas, and we visited him a few times. And I feel like every time we went, he would get us discount tickets for a Cirque du Soleil show. So I saw a few of them there. I think I saw one in Florida, and I think I saw one in Chicago. They're all incredible, other than the occasional clown appearance, because some of them have clowns, and I do.
Indeed.
In case you don't know, listeners, I don't like clowns, and I used to be deathly afraid of them until earlier this year. I've also been to the regular circus. I went a few times as a kid to Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey. I believe it was when they still did have elephants. And the main things I remember are getting snow cones and, like cheap, shitty toys, like one of those like fiber optic wands, stuff like that. I don't remember much about the circus performance itself. I love the show Carnival.
I never watched Carnival, which, and again, is a wild one because it's right up my alley.
It is. I even have a song about Carnival. It's not one of my best songs. I try to do too many things with it, but I love that show, and I'm still so mad that Daniel Knopf did not get to make all 7 seasons.
How many seasons was it?
2.
Yeah, I was like, I know it was very...
And he wrote a treatment for the entire show that you can read online for free if you want. And the things he wanted to do were incredible. And I'm just so mad HBO did not let him do all of those things. Anyway.
Money.
Yeah.
Money.
Money.
Mm-hmm.
Well, speaking of I don't know.
I was going to say.
Let's get into some role play.
Is that your bathing suit? Is that your overbite?
Now, one of you will be the drowning victim, and the other one gets to be our lifesaver.
I'll be the victim. All your life.
Throw money at him! Woo! Rain dollar bills!
All right, this is probably the shortest synopsis I've ever written because I skipped over a lot of the incidental stuff. I'm just giving you the main plot. And we can talk about some of the other stuff if you want. Always feel free to interrupt. In a post-apocalyptic world, a butcher sharpens his knife, a man wraps himself in paper bag armor to jump in a trash can, and the garbage men come to collect. Unfortunately, his disguise can't save him from landing on the butcher's block.
When I told you that this was a cannibalism movie and you said spoiler alert, I was like, well, kind of. You'll figure it out pretty fast, I think.
Yeah, in the first 3 minutes of the movie.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Customers pay for the meat with measures of corn kernels and other seeds, and a man named Louison arrives by taxi to take a job in exchange for room and board. He begins some building maintenance tasks and meets the various strange residents. An armed postal worker comes to deliver a package for the butcher's daughter, Julie, and gets into a tussle with several of the residents before handing it off. She invites Louison over to share the nibbles that evening, and their adorably awkward date culminates in a duo performance of cello and singing saw.
This date is so cute.
It's so cute. This is the kind of whimsy that I love from Jean-Pierre Jeunet.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the parts of the movie that worked the best for me, I think. The stuff between Louison and Julie, it's lovely. It's sweet.
Yes.
And I'm a sucker for a singing saw.
So cool.
It's strangely coincidental. The only time I got to see Rasputina at the Double Door here in Chicago, R.I.P. Double Door, the opening act was just a guy playing a singing saw through various effects, and it was absolutely enchanting, haunting, beautiful. So I loved that he plays the singing saw in this.
I was listening to the commentary, and Jeunet was just like, they sounded awful in real life, but they looked good enough. And for Julie's character, Marie-Laure learned how to play the music, but was out of key all times.
Fair. Julie tries to warn Louison about the cannibalistic nature of the tenement, but he falls asleep as their song concludes, and she deposits him in his own bed before going to sleep herself, where she dreams of him being brutally murdered.
So she's been drugging him.
I don't think she meant to.
The first time? I think.
Right. The first time I don't think she meant to, because the way she looks at the jar in surprise after she puts her glasses back on.
Yep.
Seems like, oh shit, I didn't mean to do that. After that, she gives him the herbs to make sure he sleeps at night.
It doesn't make it out into the hallway for, reasons.
Julie begs her father to let Louison go, but he does not acquiesce, and he actually smacks her, and it's very upsetting.
Very upsetting.
She then ventures underground in search of the troglodytes.
These guys!
They remind me of the mole guy from Atlantis.
Yes.
Yeah. So they are a resistance. And when I say underground, I literally mean underground. They live underground.
Sewers.
So they're a resistance who she asks to kidnap Louison in exchange for her father's seed fortune, because they are the seed-eating faggots, apparently.
Vegetarians.
Yeah.
All gay.
While the whole building watches a broadcast of a circus performance featuring Louison, the butcher attacks him on the roof and is thwarted by Julie and a well-timed explosion. The postman then shows up to assault her, but is stopped by Louison, and the troglodytes accidentally kidnap Mademoiselle Plus, the butcher's lover. Yes, she is gorgeous.
Oh my God.
This woman is gorgeous.
when I was listening to the commentary, Jeunet was talking about, like, she's in very art house movies. I don't believe the movies she is doing now have her, like, being captured by a net on a floor and silly things like that anymore. It's like, I hope she likes this movie, but she does very different films now, apparently.
Louison and Julie hole up in his bathroom, which they intentionally flood. The two lovers share an underwater kiss just before the butcher opens the door, sending the water and his compatriots spilling out through the building.
It's very funny because Jeunet talks about this scene in particular. He's like, sometimes you just steal things and you don't even know you stole something. He goes, we came up with this, me and Caro, and we thought this is so unique and original and brilliant. And then a few years later, I was watching a Laurel and Hardy movie and I was like, this is the exact thing we did.
Accidental homage.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
As the troglodytes show back up to rescue Julie, the butcher attempts to use the Australian, Louison's boomerang blade, and it winds up embedded in his own forehead, killing him.
It's such a great moment.
It's incredible. I love the way he slowly walks over, sits down in a chair, and then dies. The film ends with a rooftop duo performance for cello and saw.
Nah.
And that's Delicatessen.
Ah.
Do you feel like I hit most of the important parts with my synopsis? I've got some questions that address other characters and their plot lines.
Yes.
Okay.
Because there is, a lot of other things going on in the building.
Well, tell me about the first time you saw this movie.
So I saw this 2005 or 2006. I think it's 2005, though, because this is when I started working at Hollywood Video. And a bunch of the people I worked with were very much into this, City of Lost Children, all of Jeunet's, like pretty much all of Jeunet's work. So they were upset at me, could not believe I had not seen this before. And I was like,
I know I've talked about this before, but I hate that attitude. Don't be mad at someone for not seeing something. Don't shame them. Be excited. You get to expose them to something that you like, that you hope that they like. Don't be a dick.
Exactly. But I watched it, and I mean, I had this at that point in my life really just hit a lot of my happy buttons. Again, the whimsy that really works with the movie between Louison and Julie. I mean, I think the butcher is excellent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a great cartoonish villain performance.
Yes.
He might as well be twirling his mustache the whole movie, but he doesn't have a mustache.
I'm like, do it with his eyebrows or something, twirling eyebrows. And the level of detail in the production design. So I know Caro really does a lot of the artistic direction, while Jeunet does more of like the actors and that kind of thing. And it, even though I'm seeing it more than 10 years after it came out, I was like, it felt still like relevant. 15 years, after it came out. It still felt like new and relevant at that time as well, which, and it just like gave me a lot of joy to watch this just like very whimsical, sweet, apocalyptic cannibal rom-com.
Well, this was my first watch of this movie, which feels strange because I saw Amelie in the theater, another Jeunet film. I love that movie. I used to watch it semi-regularly. It has a similar sense of whimsy and romance, no cannibalism. And I will say that a lot more of that movie works for me than this. This is like a 3-star movie for me. It's very frustrating at points, and I did not love it. But it's not bad. I wanted to love it. And I don't know, maybe if I had watched it around the same time in high school, I would have been more into it. I did watch City of Lost Children after I saw Amelie. I sought that out because I was like, oh, okay, this is the same director. And he also did Alien Resurrection, which was the first Alien movie I got to see in the theater, which I still don't understand how I got to see that in the theater. And I'm a defender of that movie. I genuinely like that movie, Joss Whedon aside.
Yeah.
And Dominique Pignon is fantastic in it as the mechanic. He's so great.
I feel like so much of this movie, really rests on his physicality and just incredible performance that he gives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know if I'll revisit this, but I'm still glad that you got me to watch it finally.
I think it's a really good kind of base. I mean, this is the first movie that they were able to do. They wanted to do City of Lost Children first, but couldn't because they couldn't get the money for it.
Right.
So they did a much more contained, smaller story where they could have it in one building.
Mm-hmm.
Almost no exterior shots whatsoever.
Right. And the exterior shots we do have, are they miniatures?
Mm-hmm.
They're beautiful. And it's, sometimes you can look at a miniature and be like, oh, that's a miniature. Am I overpronouncing that word? I feel like I am.
Miniature?
Yeah, I don't know. I overpronounce words sometimes. Anyway, in this case, I was struggling to figure out whether or not it was a miniature. And I think that just speaks to the craft. So Caro is very, very talented. And I know that they would go on to work together a bunch more times, even on things that were not co-directed by them.
Yes. Yeah, because I believe City of Lost Children, the last one that they co-directed, because Jeunet said yes to Alien Resurrection. Caro said no.
But he still did the art direction.
Yes. He's like, You're not going to give me as much control as I want. Caro's very interesting because in the commentary, it starts out as just Jeunet, and he's like, I'm the co-director. Because Mark Caro does not like commentaries. He thinks they're dumb and a waste of time.
Yeah.
But Jeunet was like, I really enjoy them. I find it interesting. I like to listen to other directors unpack what they're doing. And he's like, so I hope this is interesting for everyone.
Yeah, I love a good commentary track.
I love a good commentary.
Well, this is yet another film we've covered with a slew of colorful characters. So tell me, who is your favorite?
So many great characters in this. And I really, really love Robert Cube, the man who ultimately also chops off part of his leg to feed people.
Mm-hmm.
When he's like, I'm not hungry. I don't feel like eating. I just lost my leg. I don't feel like eating it. But I don't know why I always forget her name. Oh, Aurora.
She is, oh my God, she's absolutely my favorite too. And don't worry, I have a question about her later.
Yes, she, in her green kitchen.
Yes. Oh my God. All of her stuff felt like a cross between Peter Greenaway and a Saw movie.
Yes.
And I mean
so
that
good.
in the highest complimentary way.
Her performance, just how neurotic, and I mean, obviously she's getting got, but just it fits so well into the reality that Jeunet and Caro have created. She's just a delight.
Yep. Well, we'll get to her eventually, but first, let's talk about the film's context with our next section, Faith and Chance.
I can't exist by myself because I'm afraid of myself, because I'm the maker of my own evil. Goodness is only some kind of reflection upon evil. That's all it is.
Caitlin, take me away.
So it's interesting because I was obviously see previous episode, see it and listen to previous episode on Knife Plus Heart, because we were talking about how in the 70s, obviously France is getting more liberalized. Foreign laws were getting taken down. There's just an explosion of art in that way. And as in this movie, being being made in 1991, but it took a long time for it to get to screen. It's interested in like what was going on in the 80s in France at the time. And apparently they had a socialist government, first left-wing president under the Fifth Republic of France, because the Fourth Republic had World War II, wasn't so kind to the Fourth Republic of France. But it also has to do with like the government, how their government is set up, and that's how they choose, like, this was the monarchy, this was the feudal monarchy, and so these are the different republics of France. I needed to look that up because I had no idea what that meant. So we have President Francois Mitterrand from 1981. Also apologize if I didn't pronounce that correct. 1981 to 1995, he was France's longest-serving president. He was originally a right-winger who served in the Vichy France government, so under Nazi occupation. But ultimately, he ended up going very left-wing, becoming a socialist, and joining the French underground resistance during World War II. And it's something with the troglodytes that I did not pick up, so thank you to the person who wrote the Wikipedia article, and had just a quick blurb on this, and they're like, this is talking about a bit what was going on in France during World War II, and I was like, what? Oh, apparently at this time in France, they were also thinking a lot about the role of Vichy France and Nazism and the occupation and the people who were part of that government and what that meant is like for their, national identity. And there is an article that I did not pay for because it's going to be $56. What's called Replaying History as Farce, Postmodernism and the Construction of Vichy in Delicatessen by Graham Haynes. Not Haynes at all, Hayes. One day I'll learn how to read, y'all. It's going to be a great day for me. I never learned how to read.
Is that true? Yeah. All of it except the reading part.
The best. By Graham Hayes. And so I found that interesting as we have this now socialist, liberal, very left government, but he started out as someone who served, who was working with the Nazis. And obviously during World War II, you had the French resistance. Shout out to Josephine Baker. What a badass she was, who served as part of the French resistance after she left the United States. And obviously also you're in wartime, so there would have been famine. And it was just something that I hadn't really thought about watching Delicatessen ever before. So I thought that was an interesting read on the movie. And what's great about socialists? They tend to open up and give a lot of money to art. They love art. And also the homosexuals, apparently, because continue to get a lot more parity with heterosexuals during this time, which for me really, I'm like, oh, is that why there was an explosion of we have Gautier came up a lot when I was researching pop culture in France at this time. Mugler, some of these huge names in fashion. Gainsborough is having a big resurgence at this time, though apparently he was very, very drunk. I don't know why that was important for the person who wrote From Messy Nessie, but it was very funny to me. They're like, and Serge Gainsborough was just drunkenly making his way around pop culture. And apparently he went too far. He got too drunk at one point. So I don't know why I thought that was so funny, but I did. And so, again, it's this time where you're starting to see people making movies that weren't necessarily, those voices weren't being heard or supported before.
Right.
And Jeunet even says, he's like, I don't think there's really anything like our movie out at the time. I feel like it really did start this, and also kind of open the door in the United States, I would almost say, for this very more whimsical, foreign, or Kronos came up, Guillermo del Toro came up in my mind a lot while I was watching this, with the beautiful artistic design, the whimsy. Wes Anderson, I think I wrote to you and I was like, so do you think Wes Anderson watched this and was like, this is going to be my entire personality from now on? Because I was like, good, just these impeccable designs. We have Snowpiercer, I feel like it was a French graphic novel, so it was in 1982, but dealing with kind of the same climate. And
I don't think I realized that Snowpiercer's origins go back that far. I saw the movie at the Music Box when it came out, and I actually really love that movie. I know a lot of people don't like it. I think it's great. We should definitely cover it on here sometime.
I'm going to say that Chris Evans gives the best fucking line read of any person ever with, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, I know that babies taste best. And I died. I was like, yes, sir. I say it all the time. I'm like, well, babies, they taste best. So
that was Bong Joon-ho, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And I would say my biggest issue is because then ultimately, spoiler alert, they're freaked out about bugs. And I eat bugs all the time. Bugs are delicious. I highly recommend people eat bugs. Anyway, the look on May's face.
I'm not going to ask any follow-up questions right now, but we need to have a conversation about this later.
Crickets and things, One of the things that I found funny about this is that, as you said, Jeunet ended up getting alien resurrection, and when he was talking about some of the first scene when Julia's down in the sewers with the troglodytes, and they all kind of like pop up, he's like, so I took this from Alien. He's like, this whole setup, he's like, I definitely had like seen Alien, and I thought, well, that's really great. I want to do something like that.
Cool.
Buster Keaton was a huge influence in this movie especially with Louison's character.
Did you think, I mean, I don't know if you can think back this far, but before the reveal that Dr. Livingston is a chimpanzee, did you think it was an actual man?
Yes,
because
absolutely.
I did, and I also thought that he had been in love with that man. So I did like a bisexual reading into this, and I was like so excited. And then when it was revealed that Dr. Livingston was a monkey, I was like, oh, that's disappointing.
Yeah, the most gay content we get in this is vegetarians being called faggots.
Yep.
Woohoo! Which, how 90s is that?
For real.
I mean, nailed it.
I get it's the bad guys saying that, but still. I mean, obviously, I can laugh at it now, which is why I used it as my nickname for the episode.
Yes. It is one of those things that was, I mean, so of the time, I'm always stoked when there's not a whole bunch of, homophobia in movies, because holy shit, you go back something you don't quite remember as well as you thought you did, and you go, oh, no, I don't. This movie did not age as well as I remembered it in my mind.
Fair.
Things that I had forgotten before I watched this,
mm-hmm.
and I can't believe I had forgotten this. I mean, that whole scene that they used in the trailer with the bed springs and the squeaking and the and the cello, and beating off that rug.
Beaten off the rug.
Jeunet goes, I should have sued all of the advertisers who ripped us off.
Oh, like that Milky Way commercial.
He's like, Americans in particular, advertisers took this, and I was like, I couldn't remember exactly what commercials they were because there were so many.
Yeah, the one I remember the most is Milky Way. It's like someone in a theater unwraps it, and then everyone starts making noises with their snacks. And I'm like, no, everyone shut the fuck up. You're in a movie theater. Be as quiet as possible.
That is so funny. Don't do that. Unwrap your hard candies first before the show starts.
Yeah.
There's a scene towards the end, and Jeunet goes, and there's this English advertiser named Tarsem, and he just shamelessly stole all of this. He's like, shame for like an Adidas ad, and something else was like, shameless stealing. And I was like, ah!
Oh, good old Tarsem Singh.
It was so funny. But again, then when I was, you're thinking of that and his visual style.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the beautiful colors going back to our saw kitchen. I don't know. I was like, this is really cool. This had such an incredible influence on movies that I had completely forgotten about. And I think a lot of people, because it ended up being more of a cult film, aren't even aware of. So Jeunet right now is considered like one of the most important like French directors.
Yeah.
And influential. That was it. Influential French directors.
Yeah, there we go. Well, now that we've ingested that excellent course, before we move on, I'm just going to tell you that this movie has a 90% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes based on 59 reviews. It has a 91% audience score. On IMDb, it has a 7.5 out of 10, and on Letterboxd, it has a 3.8 out of 5 or a 7.6 out of 10. And that feels pretty appropriate. Like I said, I didn't love this movie, but it is still a good movie. So the 90% approval rating makes sense to me. And then the IMDb and Letterboxd scores seem about in line with what I would expect.
It does that thing, cult movie. The people who like this movie fucking love this movie. Mm-hmm. I definitely think that towards the end there, she starts getting a bit chaotic. Once the troglodytes start, I'm like, oh, y'all, it's chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Very chaotic.
That poor guy who gets shot, so sad.
Who could it be?
That postman is such a piece of shit. I absolutely hate him.
I dislike him, I think, the most.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I didn't have a question about this, but he is definitely my most hated character. He's way more of an asshole than the butcher.
Yeah, I love that moment where the butcher just like hears Louison talking. He's like, not everyone's all bad. And like he's having like this moment of, wait, am I the asshole? I'm the asshole, aren't I?
Well, we're going to get to that in just a second.
Yeah.
But first, let's make that money. Can't wait until one day we actually have advertisements that go in there so people don't think I'm insane for saying that every episode.
I love that.
And now we're going to dig into the meat, the goo, and the viscera in a section we call Enough is a Myth.
No. I've done enough.
Enough is a myth.
So, as I alluded to a moment ago, I have a question about what you were talking about. At one point, Louison says to Julie, no one is entirely evil. It's circumstance, or they don't realize they've done wrong. And the butcher then repeats that. Do you believe the residents are evil or simply compelled by circumstance to engage in cannibalism? Do they think they're actually doing anything wrong?
I don't think the residents are evil. I definitely think that they're in one of the worst situations you can be in and not have access to food. I don't know. So these seeds, I'm guessing you can't grow anything. People are vegetarians. You don't necessarily have to be eating people. I find that part really interesting where that there's still this expectation that we need meat.
Mm-hmm.
We need meat. We have to eat meat. There's a point where one of the Mr. Tapioca, Jeunet really likes. He says, "I like funny names, like kind of hard and weird names that you wouldn't usually find anywhere else. So that's why you have like plus tapioca, the tapiocas. There does seem to be moments where they have that like, this isn't right, is it?"
Mm-hmm.
Robert Cube, the man with the animal boxes.
Mm-hmm. Who's in love with Aurore.
Yes, who's in love with Aurore. And was that Roger? The other guy?
I think so. Roger and Robert.
I
can't remember.
Are they in love? Are they brothers?
I just assumed they were like platonic besties.
Yeah. I'm like, man, Roger, that's a Mr. Tapioca talking about how he has the rat whistle to have the male rats come and clapet.
I just called him the butcher.
The butcher. Cool. The butcher.
I'm the butcher.
I'm the butcher. Yes. I was like butcher, baker, nightmare maker. He's talking about like the rats, and the butcher goes, there are no more rats. So it's like they have eaten the rats. They've eaten like everything. And this is when I was like, oh, right, Snowpiercer, because I was like, they should be eating bugs. What are they even doing? And I went, oh, right. We've discussed this before. So that's, I do see it as they are victims of circumstance. They are doing their best with what they have. I think sometimes they shouldn't be tricking people into coming and giving their lives for them to be fed. I think that's the bad part right there.
Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of people in this post-apocalyptic world who would be like, yeah, I'm done. You can eat me. You know, just put an ad in the paper being honest about what you want people for.
Like, right. Exactly. Hey, we're very hungry.
What I find most interesting is that other than like a couple little pieces of information we get from the postman, we don't know what this world is like outside of this tenement. You know, we know Louison was part of a circus, so there's still entertainment happening. There's still television being broadcast. We don't really know what effects this apocalyptic event had, other than it seems like all of the animals are gone. And that's why they're resorting to eating people for meat. I also think it's interesting that this is not an Eat the Rich movie. This is an Eat the Poor movie, but it's other poor people who are doing it. So similar to Snowpiercer, you know, you have these people who are trapped in this shitty circumstance, who are doing what they can do to survive, even if that is coming from a place of moral compromise. You know, it doesn't seem like they're happy that they have to eat people.
Right.
It doesn't seem like they're thrilled about it, even if they are subsisting on it. Okay. Throughout the film, the character Aurora is repeatedly thwarted from her Rube Goldbergian suicide attempts by random happenstance. Has someone trying to kill themselves ever been funnier than this?
I don't think so. It's so funny.
It's so fucking funny. And the things that she comes up with are so complicated. And, you know, I like that she does eventually get her wish and perishes in that explosion. But yeah, there's something about like the relief on her face when the sewing machine finally falls into the bathtub and then being so disappointed that it came unplugged. And the same thing with everything that happens in the kitchen later. It's just, there's a very Buster Keaton-esque ridiculousness to it. And it's delightful, which, again, is surprising because these are scenes about a woman who wants to die.
Yeah, you would not expect just the deftness with which this is handled. This Final Destination-esque, yeah, series of events that she's trying to set up. You can't force death, apparently.
Yeah, no, death's got to come for you of their own accord.
It's just like she has the shotgun and something to like light something on fire.
Yep.
And like a mouthful of pills. When she falls down and the pills just all come out of her mouth,
Yeah, she has the gas going. She has a Molotov cocktail lit. She has a mouthful of pills. She has a noose tied around her neck. And she has a shotgun pointed at her face. So she's like trying to foolproof this so that she's gonna die. And every single one of the things goes wrong. The shotgun breaks the noose. She falls backwards and the pills pop out of her mouth. Something happens with water that puts out the Molotov cocktail. And then Does the husband turn off the gas when he comes in?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, but then there's still so much in the apartment that when that light switch gets clicked on, that's when the explosion happens.
It's just so well done. The performance is top notch.
Oh, she's wonderful. And the discovery that the voices that she's been hearing was actually Robert's roommate. We determined that was Roger, right?
Roger.
Yeah. That it was him like whispering through the pipe is A, heartbreaking, B, so mean. And it's like, okay, so wait, are you in love with Robert and you're jealous of his attention toward Aurora? Or are you mad at him because you also are attracted to her? Like, what's going on here?
Right.
I think it's more likely to be the former, that he's dealing with some repressed feelings there and not really expressing himself well.
Right? It's like, well, you're so mad that Robert is like giving any sort of thought to this woman. That you're whispering at her that she needs to kill herself. What?
And also that Robert is a panty eater.
Oh, yes. Robert is a panty eater.
So fucking funny.
How many calories can one get out of panties?
Hey, we don't use the C word in this family. Cunt is fine.
Cunt is fine.
All right, last question. The film ends happily, but somewhat ambiguously, as our characters still seem to reside in this dilapidated building in a post-apocalyptic world. What do you think is next for everyone? And do you think you could survive in this world?
Well, they have the seeds, right?
Yeah. They have
the
a seed
seeds.
fortune.
Yes, so the seeds are good. I think the seeds bode well for our tenants who are the people who survived, those tapioca children. When Mr. Tapioca is fixing the condom with like Bike.
Oh my God. I was losing my mind at that. Like, oh, you only have one condom and you're repeatedly patching it so you can reuse it.
Yes.
Because you don't want to have any more kids because you already got 2.
And that's too many in this post-apocalyptic hellscape that we're living in. I mean, you might eat the kids because they're easier to catch because they're smaller.
I don't know. They might be really fast.
Oh, that's true. They can hide in small spaces, which does make them harder to find sometimes. Well, and with that, I think I do very well in this world. I'm very resourceful. Ryan always says, he's like, you're like a wizard in the kitchen. You can make something out of nothing. I'm like, well, that's because a lot of times we didn't have a lot. So that was what you had to do. You just had to make a meal out of what was available. And so I'm pretty good at that. I've discussed that I'm pretty much only eat meat and cheese. So this would be a very hard time for me because I can't have legumes. I'd be very sick, but I can eat corn like a motherfucker. Like,
I love corn.
Corn, awesome. A potato, great. I'm a potato person. I come from potato people.
I have the ideas. You're the potato man. Wow, sorry. Deep cut Matt Smith Doctor Who quote.
Wow. I was like, I don't know what that is, but I love it. I think I could survive in this world. I mean, do you want to? But I'm a survivor. You can't keep me down.
And that's my whole thing is, I've talked about if there's a zombie apocalypse, I'm going to sacrifice myself to save people. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with living in a post-apocalyptic world. This world sucks enough. If it gets worse, I just don't want to handle that. I don't need this. No, I would be like, hey, y'all want to eat me? I got plenty on me. Like, I'll last you for a while. And got a big juicy butt. I'm sure that'll be delicious. Literally eat my ass.
High calorie butt meat.
Hey, No calories.
That's little Misty Quigley for you Yellow Jackets fans out there.
Oh.
I'm gonna eat your high calorie butt meat. Like, yeah.
Incredible. Well, I think it's time, don't you, Caitlin, to play a game.
Hello. You don't know me, but I know you. I want to play a game.
I would say yes, except I didn't come up with one.
Oh. Well, hey,
I
you
had
know
one
what?
in mind, but because I needed that, like, I napped hard for like 30 minutes. I was like,
no
I can't.
worries.
So it's just very funny. I was like, I was gonna play Witch Bro with the troglodytes, but then I'd have to like look up what everyone's name was and what they were all saying, and you can't tell who anyone is. One of them's Mark
No.
Caro.
The only thing I know is that he's Fox,
Yes, the one
but
with
I
the
couldn't
glasses.
tell you. Sure, okay.
I think.
Okay. Well, we have no game. That's
We
okay.
have no game. We will next week, I promise.
So,
we'll have a game.
is this a pleaser or a punisher for you?
I think it's a pleaser. It has enough of the whimsy and the sweetness, and the parts where that is very balanced, it just nails it.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those movies one of the few movies that I like felt so good after I saw it the first time. I think I may have just immediately turned around and watched it again. Did this time around have more critiques? Certainly. As I said, I think towards the end there, it loses its way a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Might be trying to say a bit too much. It needs to streamline.
Yeah.
Get rid of a few of maybe the troglodytes. Feels like that was kind of an unnecessary part of the movie. Even Jeunet was like, "Oh, they're so cartoony. This was not our best effort."
I do love the relationship Julie forges with them, though, and her quote-unquote coffee maker that's actually a shortwave radio that she talks to them on in code, which, like I said, there's so much delightful. There are so many delightful things about this movie, and the things that work beautifully. There's some incredible set pieces. I think it didn't land perfectly for me, and that might be the mood I'm in right now. My life is a fucking disaster, and
I love you, May.
I love you too. Thank you. Our podcast is helping keep me together in a time of turmoil.
Doing it, Peter.
So it might be that I'm just not in the right mood for it. It might be that I watched it by myself. I am on record many times talking about that movies don't always work for me as well when I watch them by myself. But I still largely enjoyed it, and I think this was a fun discussion. So I'm gonna call it a pleaser, even if it's on the light side of that. There's certainly nothing punishing about it.
No. I mean,
it's very French, but it's not the type of French where I'm like, oh God, what, your head's so far up your ass.
Right. It's certainly nothing like Inside. So
No, an excellent movie that is a punisher through and through.
that movie like ruined yesterday for me. I felt so dead inside.
Yeah.
Anyway, maybe it was because Caitlin picked a movie where a clown was the main character.
Hey, at least he wasn't dressed as a clown the whole time. And I will say, some of the stuff that he was practicing, his act, that little dance with the third leg.
The third leg.
The pretending to be a head on a plate, which he did not even realize the irony of that at the time. Absolutely wonderful.
Yes. The third leg. Sometimes the way you say things. That third leg. That Jeunet was like, I stole that from American circus performers. Of some circus act he saw. It's just like, France, they love clowns. You can go to clown college.
Reason.
Yep. May's like, no, thank you.
I wish clown college did not exist, personally.
Our college is clown college, if you really think about it. Yeah.
Well, speaking of...
I was going to say, we can either think about it or not, but wrap it up. Wrap it up.
Don't you see? He's got us now. Okay, this is exactly what he wants. We can't go to the police, not now. He's made sure of that. He's just out there and he's watching us and waiting. What are you waiting for, huh? What are you waiting for?
Wrap that third leg up.
And that brings us to the end of our episode. Thanks so much for joining us on this journey, fellow travelers. If you like what you hear, please leave us a rating and review wherever you can, because it helps more people find the show and it makes us all tingly inside. You can find us on Instagram at Pleasers and Punishers, and on Blue Sky at Pleasers Punishers. You can also email us at pleaserspunisherspodcast@gmail.com. You can find me on Blue Sky and Letterboxd at Everson Poe. You can find my music on Ampwall, Bandcamp, and streaming services as Everson Poe, 2 separate words. And you can hear me podcasting on Tender Subject and Slayerfest 98. Caitlin, where can you be found?
I can be found at Caitlin of the North on Blue Sky and Instagram, and Cat of the North on Letterboxd.
And next week's episode will be on something I didn't write down because
the
I forgot.
Phantom Thread!
Yes, next week's episode will be on Paul Thomas Anderson's The Phantom Thread. This is going to be a first-time watch for me. I'm very hit or miss with PTA movies, so I'm very curious to see how this lands for me.
I will say, trigger warning, there are some mean body things that are said in this movie because it does have to do with fashion. I mean, I cackle every time because it's like so mean.
Oh,
all this stuff is going to be so mean. Just because, because we do not say that C word. There can be there's just going to be a little bit of that sprinkled out throughout. But it actually goes away at one point, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
I just
for
watched
the
this
forewarning.
like 2 weeks ago.
Well, I guess it's almost time to watch again. And until then, do some aftercare, clean your toys, set healthy boundaries, and give me some bullshit. Come on.